Hello everybody, Angels here, and welcome back. No, not welcome back. Welcome to a brand new show on the channel. That is Kono Sekai wa Fukanzen Sugiru, which translates to, what was it? Quality assurance in another world? Something like that. In any case, yes, first episode of the first new show I'm watching this season, the first new show, because of course I'm still watching Wasuyu, right? I'm still watching Spice and Wolf. I did watch the first episode of the second season of Shy, which is technically 13th season. This is something brand new, something brand new that I know precious little about. Besides the name, and we've seen the trailer during the seasonal stream, which you're gonna find the VOD here in the corner if you're curious about that. Besides that, I really know nothing about it. From the title, I can surmise that it's going to be about a quality assurance guy who maybe gets transported into the world of a game that he was doing quality assurance for, and it's going to be a game isekai where he exploits the quality issues with the game, right? Like clipping through objects or getting into the I don't know, game master room and getting the best weapons or stuff like that. Probably that's what I expect from the title alone. From the trailer, it looked like just a normal, regular-ish fantasy show without even any hint of an isekai. So I'm really wondering what's it gonna be, actually. How's it gonna work? Is it actually an isekai? Is he actually in the game world, or is he in completely different world? I don't know. I've no idea. Additionally, I believe this story is told from the perspective of a girl that he meets, so that's another very interesting thing, where the main character of the show is not the protagonist. I very much like it when it happens. It doesn't happen often, but I have a weak spot for not a fish out of water scenario, kind of like the opposite, right? For example, I really like reading humanity fuck yeah genre stories told from the perspective of aliens who suddenly see the scary powerful humans arrive from the skies and their thoughts about humanity, and I cannot clean my glasses. So it's going to be very interesting for me to see a story with potentially an isekai character told from the perspective of the inhabitant of the world. And yeah, I'm reminded of one thing. It's a series by, or just a single video, I'm not sure. Was it by Jean Javier, or was it by one of the other people who are using his style? It was like speedrunner going through the game, but also told from the perspective of, shown from the perspective of people inside of the game, right? Like, what the fuck, how's he moving that fast? Right? Stuff like that. That's more or less what I expect. Whether I get my expectations fulfilled or not, I don't know. I'm not sure. I guess we'll see. Yeah, this video is gonna be a little bit late. Second episode should be a little bit earlier. I had some stuff to do yesterday, and I wasn't able to record it as it came out. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. I got a new light bulb for the room, but it turns out that it was way too yellow, well too warm, and it was also flickering on camera, so I'm gonna have to deal with not full lighting. In any case, enough talking. If you're new to the channel and you're unfamiliar with the structure of my videos, we start every episode with an intro, then we go through the entire episode with a timer, so prepare your own copy of the show. Then we go in the corner through the episode again, then also to stop every now and then, talk at length about some stuff, maybe go through some animation bits frame by frame, stuff like that can't be done live. Then we also, for the first episode, we're gonna go through the staff, the studio, the character, voice actors, stuff like that. Then we're gonna have a bit of closing thoughts, and that's the episode. All of that, of course, timestamp. There's gonna be chapters on mobile. It's gonna be here, and on desktop, it's gonna be there. Unless YouTube changes the layout again. It changed the layout only like 3 times already, and it's back to the old layout. Go figure. But yeah. How about we just start watching this episode, right? Shall we? What am I doing? To do that, you will need your subs, of course, to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, cost you nothing, helps a lot. On Patreon, Wasuyu Early Access. And with that, we can start watching Kono Sekai wa Fukanzen Sugiru, episode 1 in 3, 2, 1, go. Bandai Namco? Okay. As producers, I assume. Well, that's loud. Thank you, Kodansha, for blowing up my eardrums. Yeah, I remember liking this style very much from the opening. From the, not opening, the trailer. It reminds me of, what's this show? With the big bulky dude and an Ainu girl who's like kind of comedy, kind of historical. I forgot the name of it. Golden Kamui, yeah, reminds me of Golden Kamui art style a little bit. The faces mostly, like bold lines, right, round eyes, very pronounced noses with some shadowing. Yeah, the toad dragons. That's another thing from the trailer that I remember. Hoimoi dragons. They're weird. Yeah, I guess not so peaceful. That's an interesting bit of animation. If you can call it animation. Yeah, reminds me of the sheep from Overlord a little bit. That's our MC. That's our MC. Right. Like what? He knows the hitboxes? Probably. Well, damn, it was a safe spot. Also, it doesn't look like the dragons are attacking maliciously. Rather, like it's either a stampede or they're just migrating and just happen to go through this area. A bush monster. Oh, he seems dressed fine for the time and area. Right, bit of a motion sickness, I guess. That's a lot of barrels. And a lot of quivers. He is left-handed. Yep, left-handed. More dragons. Okay, the same kind, even. Oh. Pathfinding is scuffed. The nav mesh didn't generate properly. Yep, that's what it is. Just an Oblivion NPC walking into a wall. Quality assurance in another world, indeed. Do we get an OP? Great music, by the way. Yeah, we get an OP. Or not, or just an explanation of the world. Okay, okay. I was about to say that this show is moving kind of fast. But maybe they, just wanted to get through that early bit. Seeker. Right, that's probably the cover story. Right, of course. Okami-san. I don't think that translates to man. I think it's like proprietress, something like that. What are we having? Some sort of a stew with the lotus root and some meat. Right, something out of the ordinary, right? A little bit of excitement in your boring NPC life. Elves. And so she's going to join Haga and travel. Crafting, yeah. Gotta make those iron daggers to raise your stats. Or I guess more like an arrow tip. That's a lot of days. Right. It's really interesting to me how this show is like pretty clearly based in or on a game, and yet it's not gamified, right? Like, he doesn't have a status screen or anything like that. I mean, yeah, they told you they're the elite. They really like their bold lines here, don't they? That's a very small bowl for him. Yep, that's the cover story. Of course it is. It's weird how this episode seems to be going both very fast and very slow at the same time. More dragons? Yeah, shaking. Oh? Serious mode? Serious mode. Hmm. Are they going to believe her? Well, hopefully. I think they'd be more inclined to believe you, though, Haga. Is she like a key NPC or something? Oh, it's molting, I guess. Yeah, it's molting. Yep, a big dragon. Oh, okay. Just a proper dragon with fire breath and all. Right, you ask for an exciting life and be careful you don't get your wish fulfilled. Can you even see that dragon from here? Yeah, it is here. Okay, so at least they're gonna believe her. Just gotta shoot like a full quiver of arrows. It's gonna whittle down itself eventually. Yeah, there is a load of arrows. Just grab aggro, stand on high ground where it can get you, and just keep pelting it. One damage, one damage, one damage, one damage. You're gonna kill it eventually. Is that what it is? Slowly wearing it down? What's in the barrel? Explosives? Explosives. Why the arrow, then, if you have explosives? Arrow, explosives, arrow, explosives, arrow, explosives. Oh, like, it gets more... It takes more damage when it's stunned? Something like that? I mean, yeah, it might be dull, but it's effective. I like that we don't actually see, like, you know, damage numbers or something. I would have almost expected to see, like, crit, crit, crit. But no, none of that. Oh, there we go. Got some help. That's nice. Yeah, the NPC AI is malfunctioning. In a good way, but still. You just don't throw those arrows willy-nilly. You need to establish a pattern, right? AoE crit, AoE crit, AoE crit. Finally. That's a lot of arrows. It's still called Hoimoi Dragon even after molting? Or is it like the second phase of the Hoimoi Dragon? We didn't really have much time to establish any sort of relationship between them, have we? It kind of feels odd to have Haga care about her this much and her care about Haga this much. That I also want to be an adventurer. Yeah, sure. Probably not the best idea. I mean, it's dangerous life. Hmm? Excusez-moi? What? My question exactly. Oh. Oh. Oh! Oh, that's what's going on! Holy shit! Right. Okay. Well, shit. I guess you tried everything. And, you know, the game now works properly. The outcome is as it should be, right? Whatever the player tries, the village gets wiped anyway. Huh. Of course, it's a full dive. Here I thought it's an actual isekai, but no, it's just full dive. And I guess they are all QA testers. They all... no, not all of them wear the same necklace. He and Haga have the same one. Yeah, I mean, of course. Hmm. Oh! So they are stuck. We're doing a fucking Log Horizon, aren't we? Hmm. What do you mean still safe? Have the others been, I don't know, deleted because they were using the... whatchamacallit, the debug mode or something? And is that the girl approaching? I think the dress was hers. Did she respawn? Very dead eyes. Is it her though? Or is it like the Fallout bug where you blow someone's head off and they're still walking alive and well? Huh. Well, color me intrigued. I really enjoyed the music here. So, first impressions. I really like the idea. I really like what I think they're going for with the story here. The execution could be a little better. Yeah, for sure. The execution is not perfect, to say the least. It's really not perfect. Plenty of stills, plenty of slideshows, plenty of sliding PNGs. But I also think it's made by like a very new-ish studio. We'll see how it develops. And I guess we're gonna have an elf barbarian and a weird dog as companions as well. Okay, nothing after credits. Not a preview, not a scene. Let's see this episode again, though, shall we? Yes, we shall, as we always do. Bandai Namco and Kodansha. I really like the art style for multiple reasons. First of all, it's really painterly and reminds me of some of the cartoons that I used to watch as a child. Like, to this day, I'm not sure whether they're cartoons or anime. I think most of them were like a joint operation between France and Japan, right? Like, there was that period where they were making like joint projects. It very much reminds me of the what's the name of it? El Cid, I think. Yeah, El Cid, or Little Knight El Cid, something like that. It kind of reminds me of that. I wanted to say it reminds me of Papyrus, but no, that's another cartoon of my childhood. But yeah, it really reminds me very distinctly of of El Cid, in its very like painterly and like maybe not painterly, but like sketchy nature. You have those. How do I vocalize it? The fact that the line art is not even, right? There is variation to the thickness of the lines. Those like little hatching on her boots, showing some sort of dirt and damage and stuff like that. Very reminiscent of at least the first season of Sahet and a Paladin as well. Actually, the show is reminiscent of Sahet and a Paladin in more ways than one. Sahet and a Paladin also had this very interesting line work that I so enjoyed. And it also suffered a little bit from production quality. There was also plenty of stills, plenty of sliding PNGs, plenty of slideshows, most of all, in Sahet and a Paladin, and this is kind of that. Faces like straight from Golden Kamui. Every day my life was the same and very peaceful, right? Until the dragons appeared. And the dragons just immediately remind me of Studio Ghibli movies. Like, those dragons really would... Or just this shot, this scene in general, this frame would really not be out of place in a Ghibli movie. Like, sure, it would have a little bit more quality being in a Ghibli movie, but the design, the composition, and even some of the art style here really, really checks out. Yeah. Or, well, checks out, is similar. Hoimoi dragons, only supposed to appear deep in the mountains, but now they are somewhere else. Peaceful, yes, but so are, I don't know, other animals that can still stampede you or just not fucking notice you, right? Like, sure, I know elephants are peaceful, bats stand in their path and they're just gonna trample you. That's just how it works. And similarly, the dragon, who seem even less intelligent than elephants. I mean, even less. Elephants are plenty intelligent, but you know what I mean. Yeah, plenty of sliding PNGs and obstructed by some dust here to not show that those dragons are, you know, not actually animated. The villagers are, at least. I thought for a moment that the villagers might also be just sliding PNGs, but no. And we are introduced to our main character, right? Haga. Who knows the hitboxes of those dragons, who knows their paths. Because he's been QA testing this game for a long time now, for over a year. A little bit of... do I call it inconsistent art style? Or, well, inconsistent art, rather. In case of Haga, kinda, sorta, it's in his eyes, mostly. But I guess it makes sense that his eyes would close in a very, like, slanted way, because they're slanted even when wide open. So maybe not, after all. Regardless. Big dresses, strangely indeed. Yeah, plenty of preparation, plenty of barrels. I guess that's what he's been crafting all this time, right? Sitting here preparing for this one particular event. I was wondering why this episode moves both really fast and really slow for me. I guess it's moving really fast because it kind of sort of cuts out some moments a little bit, right? Like we go from who are you? I'm Haga to Nikola or whatever her name is, just being at his tent and him tending to her wounds. Right? There's no bit of, oh, I'm sorry I hurt you, let's go to my tent to tend to your wound, or, you know, some sort of a transition like that. I guess that's why it feels really fast at times for me. And I guess it might feel slow, Nikola, yeah. It might feel slow because of the very sparse animation, right? Like in any specific shot, very little happens. Right? Like pick any shot and you have a still of a character who blinks once and then lifts her head slightly. Right? Maybe that adds to my feeling of slowness a little bit. Dragons are back and they are having issues with pathfinding, it seems. Yeah, another bug. Interesting that that the pattern on his sleeves continues on his skin. I wonder if it's a tattoo or like a texture issue that he also reported, or what's the deal here? Or maybe just, you know, part of the design of the character. Investigates a lot. I guess I can understand his reservation. I was yeah, I was kind of questioning both his reservation and him not feeling comfortable in Nikola's company. And I thought it's because, oh, you know, we're not supposed to fraternize with the NPCs, right? They're just NPCs. We're not supposed to be attached to them, so he's trying to stay away and distance himself. But apparently it's because, you know, he went through this whole entire scenario many times already, and he probably just doesn't want to get attached to her because he knows what end awaits her. As for her, a little bit of, you know, overly trusting nature and, I don't know, clinginess, no, not really. Like, she comes around to Haga very quickly, right? Just glomps him out of nowhere. I think that can be chucked up for just, you know, her being an NPC. And the player wants to feel rewarded for what they did, right? So if a player saves an NPC, that NPC immediately shows their gratitude, right? It's part of the programming. It would be more realistic if the NPC were to question, oh, why did you do it, right? Do you have any interest in that? Or do you expect me to pay you, right? Stuff like that. It would be realistic, but it wouldn't feel rewarding to the player. What feels much more rewarding to the player is if they save a village and the little NPC girl runs up to them and gives them a flower. Thank you, mister, for saving our village, and hugs their leg, right? That feels more rewarding, so that's probably part of the programming here. Yeah, a bit of exposition on the land that we're operating in. Kingdom of Bayle. I'm not gonna remember that, so I'm just gonna skip through it. People having a nice life, you know, living together, elves and humans in harmony. That's nice to see. King's Seeker. Okay, so that's essentially the cover story for them. King's Seekers are the QA testers. Crown princes and heirs to the throne suddenly falling ill. I wonder if that's gonna be relevant somehow. Maybe there's like a bug that I don't know, does something to the royalty around. Let me. If you're unfamiliar, if you're new to the channel, this is my green notebook. I always note down my theories for any show I watch. And when the show ends, we go through them and see how many I guessed and how many I did not. How do I title it? I guess QA in another world, right? QA isekai, I'm just gonna say. Royalty falling ill is important and a bug of some sort. We'll see. Monsters acting strange, yeah, we've seen that. Could be because of faulty pathfinding, could be because of faulty nav meshes, could be any number of things. I feel like I'm gonna enjoy speculation and theory crafting during this show. I'm a little bit of a game developer myself. I mean, game developer. I'm making prototypes in Unreal Engine and never finish them, so can I even call myself that? But I know what pathfinding is, and I know what navmesh is. So I feel like I'm gonna enjoy it. Secret Investigation Force, right? The most elite troops. And just, living their best lives. Very calm, very, very peaceful, nothing much is going on. I was scared after the dragon attacked us, but today wasn't like every other day, right? Like, sure, I might have been scared shitless, but it was at least an emotion that I was able to feel, instead of every day just being the same. And she got a bit of a taste of that adventure life, huh? Singing of some heroes. And yeah, more stills. More stills, more sliding PNGs. Preparing more arrows, preparing more barrels, making a report. Homemade dragons 10 times, only once they were acting this odd. Doesn't seem like a critical problem, but I should report just in case. Right, gotcha. I would like to see a translation of those bug report sheets. And sending them through the tablet. I guess they don't have Jira. I really find it interesting how a show that is based like strictly on a game, this is a game world, he is in a game, and yet there's very little gamification. Pretty much none. Right? Like, we don't see damage numbers. We don't see a status screen. We don't see him pull up a bug report screen in front of his face, like a hologram, and, typing at the air, and the villagers wondering, what the fuck is he doing? Right? None of that. Everything is in world. He has to write down on a piece of parchment and then send it through the tablet. Zero gamification. Meanwhile, you would have shows out there that are just fantasy. Just fantasy, no even isekai stuff involved whatsoever, and yet they're just so fucking heavily gamified. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's a fantasy show with no isekai element, and yet you have status magic that they call status, and they see their status. You have the characters talk about earning XP to level up their fireball, right? Shit like that. I really don't like gamification in stories that are just not based on games. I like gamification in stories based on games. I fucking love Shangri-La Frontier, and I'm hella excited for second season. And I really find it interesting how fantasy shows can just do it so wrong, and yet here we have a game-based show that does the exact opposite, and for the benefit of it, really. Really bold lines. A bit of a haha funny, super deformed moment. Cool, sure. I'm not strong, yeah. Yeah, his face can get kind of wonky sometimes, I noticed. Right, like his eyes may be at a different height and slightly different shape, stuff like that. Those, like, issues with, staying on model. It's not like, whatchamacallit, Steven Universe levels of straying away from the model, right? not even close. But it's still kinda straying off the model a little bit. He has nobody with him because who? Right? All the other testers are either dead or spread apart. Actually, he mentioned something that, you know, if I'm a good tester, I might be able to leave. I wonder if the other testers are actually dead. Other testers are dead. I wonder. And yeah, again, more sliding stills. And a big dragon. Get to the village, get everybody somewhere safe. Right, we're trying to sequence break. Right, the dragon is supposed to attack the village. The player is not supposed to be strong enough to defeat the dragon. The village is supposed to be destroyed. Everybody is supposed to die. That's the... you know, that's how the story should go. Because the village being destroyed is supposed to give the player character motivation to go seek out the demon lord who messed up with the dragons, yada yada yada, right? Stuff like that. And he's trying to, yeah, trying to break the sequence. I can't let you die now. I was wondering what's it about. I thought that maybe Nikola is somehow important for the story. That maybe he's going through some sort of a Groundhog Day or something like that, where only if he completes the game fully, he can get out of the game or something like that. But the game is bugged. The game did not have proper QA testing, so there are issues. And an essential NPC can die, and then he's not going to be able to get out, and he's going to have to, I don't know, restart from the checkpoint or something like that. And that's why she needs to stay alive, because she's relevant later in the story, and he needs to progress through that. I really did not expect what they had prepared for us later. I really did not. King's Seeker. The kings of Clayborne formed a force of adventurers to investigate disasters occurring throughout the island. They are known as King's Seekers. Western Sea. The conditions in southwestern Clayborne are unknown. According to one theory, the descendants of ancient kingdom reside in a hidden paradise. However, as the area is surrounded by raging seas, no one has returned from investigating the area. We're absolutely going to investigate the area. This is interesting. I really like how weird those dragons are. I was not convinced fully, right? Like, they look just funny and silly. But with this, I can really appreciate the weirdness, you know? They're not just your everyday regular European dragon or Chinese dragon or a wyvern or whatever that we have this much in every single piece of media out there. They're actually unique, right? The dragon is molting and another head comes out from within. It's super cool, super unique. I like it. I was really afraid that the villagers are just not going to believe her. And they're just not going to do anything, and they're just all going to die. But no, thankfully not. I thought that it might be some sort of a motivation for Nikola, and it might be a reason for Haga to take her with him, right? Like, Nikola is the only one who runs away because she knows that she has to stay alive. The villagers just completely ignore her, stay around, the village gets razed, all the villagers die, only Nikola survives. Now she has nothing keeping her here, and maybe Haga feels responsible for what happened, and thus he takes her with him. Something like that is what I expected. But no, they actually listened. And right, Haga is gonna grab some aggro. I would like to learn more about what actually is he achieving here. First, the arrow to grab aggro, probably. then explosive. Yep. To stun it briefly. And make it even back off a little bit, which maybe opens the dragon to crits or something, and thus the arrow deals more damage. Or maybe the barrels are just stopping its advance, right? Like the dragon has aggro on Haga, and it's going to approach and eventually chomp down on him. So Haga uses the barrels so that the dragon steps away. He has just enough time to shoot once with the bow, and then has to use another explosive to make the dragon step away. Probably something like that. It's entered its pattern. Right, explosions make it back away, and while it's flinching, he shoots an arrow. That seems to be the plan, yes. It is a dull way, but you can't say I mean, you can say it's inefficient. You can't say it's not effective. Yeah, that's how it works. Double negation, it sometimes trips me up. It's not like the heroes in the stories and balance. Yeah, he's not a hero. I mean, he's a QA tester. Not good at all. Right. The barrels are far away, and now you also have to count in the time it takes you to run for a barrel, grab it, and run in. Thankfully, the villagers are here. Nikola seems to have rallied them all up. This... I was expecting a tentative smile, but no. I think he is still afraid that even though the villagers are so hyped up and so just, you know, ready to help, he knows that they are probably still going to burn. Probably that's why he's so withdrawn from what's happening here and is approaching people so tentatively. That's why he did not get a room at an inn, but rather opted for a tent that's not even anywhere close to the village. Protect the village, right. We beat it, it's dead, everybody's happy. We get the glomp. You seem to be fine, right? And of course she wants to join. I thought that either he's going to allow her to join, or he's not going to allow her, but she's going to follow him regardless. Something like that. And he's going to have to agree eventually, because he needs to protect her, right? Because she's an important character for the story. So if she follows him, then, well, shit, I can't just leave her out to the wolves. If she came here, then I guess I'm gonna have to protect her. We're gonna have to travel together, right? I was expecting something along those lines. But no, what we see instead is not steam, smoke. And everybody is just set on fire. Shit. I appreciate at least that they did not give us a scene of everybody screaming in pain. You know? I appreciate it. Thank you. It would be much more traumatizing. I can't help it, right? This event has fixed outcome. And his job is that this outcome comes to pass, right? His job is to ensure that everybody dies no matter what. And I thought that's going to be the main story, main drama, quote unquote, of this show, where he is a good guy, right? He doesn't want those people to die, but sometimes as a QA tester, he has to actually ensure that they do, right? That the quest has the outcome it is supposed to have. And that's going to be the problem here. That's going to be the issue. He's going to be traveling around and making sure that the princess actually gets assassinated, no matter how much he tries to protect her, right? Stuff like that. But then we introduce a whole another layer to that. My real job is to check for bugs in the game and report them. Debugger. Yep. Abandon the quest, did not help. Ran it in various different ways, did not help. Defeated the dragon, did not help. The outcome is always the same. But I guess it was the last thing he had to check. King's Seeker Online. I guess they are actually King's Seekers. Nishima Technologies. And they're in-game. That's the elf that we see traveling with them, probably. I wonder why this mage has a similar, or the exact same necklace as Haga. Debugger stones. Lost track of how long we've been here. Right. They can't log out. They have access to debug mode. That's interesting, because it makes me think that Haga might eventually just not have a choice. He's gonna have to use debug mode. Haga has to use debug mode. We're trapped in this game forever, right? Bit of a Look Horizon scenario. 1 year. I'm the only one who's. I'm a coward and a stickler for rules, so I'm the only one who's still safe. What does it mean exactly? Does it mean that the game has some anti-cheat built in? And so if you abuse the debug mode, the game just deletes your avatar or something, and some of the other people might have been banned, for example, which means they just die. If you get banned in the game, you die in real life, kind of a thing. Maybe. Stickler for rules and a coward. Does it mean that everybody was maybe trying to play a hero and they just died in the process? And if you die in game, you die in real life? Maybe. I don't know, I'm not sure. If I keep doing my job killing bug reports, will I be able to get out of here someday? Good question. The fact that the Holy Dragons can be defeated might be a bug on his own. I think his thought process here is that we are all going to be here as long as there are bugs that remain unreported. Once every bug is reported, once every bug is fixed, then we can get out. Something like that, like a hostage kind of situation. The company keeps them hostage here until they find all the bugs. And here comes Nikola, who doesn't seem like Nikola. I really thought that we might be going for something like, again, like some NPCs in Bethesda games. You kill them, and they rise up, and they just keep walking around. And you might not even be able to interact with them in any way. They have no dialogue, you can't, I don't know, pickpocket them or whatever, but they are just walking corpses. Plenty of bugs like that in Bethesda games. And I thought maybe something like that is happening here, right? Like, she died, sure, the game, you know, deleted her, or garbage collected, or disposed of, or whatever, right? But did not dispose of the pathfinding, and so her lifeless corpse is still just going around, wandering aimlessly. Something like that, maybe. But then she fainted, and then we see that she's traveling with us, with Haga, so she's probably going to be alive. Why is Haga's left leg pink? I don't know. It's not pink here. Oh, I guess it's, yeah, it's just stylized, colorized shadow. Gotcha. And the elf lady, I don't think it's the elf lady from here, no. Green bobcat. And the eye color, do we get eye color? Purple eyes. Green bobcat, purple eyes. Bobcat. Not a bobcat, gray eyes. Yeah, it's not her. It's someone else. Probably an NPC. Maybe they're NPCs that just, refuse to die. They're the bugs in the game. They're the glitches they're supposed to meet a bad end, but they just don't for some reason, and so they stick to Haga. I don't know, something like that maybe. There we go. I really was expecting a preview of the next episode or something like that, but I guess not. I mean, that's fine. That's perfectly fine by me. It's not gonna spoil anything to me, so that's good. But still, I was kind of expecting that. Regardless, now is the time. Take a look at the... There we go. At the studio, the staff, the characters, the voice actors. Right, we get the description of it. We know what it's about. 13 episodes times 24 minutes. Releasing 100 studio palette, a lot of producers. Bandai Namco, Kodansha, Crunchyroll, Mainichi, Hike, Bandai Namco, another, I don't know, subsidiary. Manga, adventure, comedy, fantasy. I hope there's a little bit more comedy. virtual world, isekai, dragons, video games, seinen, archery, and similar ones. Shield Loli, Virgin Road, surprisingly, Grimgar. Would you look at that? This I'm unfamiliar with. SAO. This I heard of, but I have not seen, and this one as well. Getting decent-ish reviews in the 70s. Yeah, I mean, it is a solid 7 out of 10 anime so far. Next, I already have it prepared. 100 Studio. That's what I said about the studios being very new. 100 Studio only made this show and an hour-long music movie. Spring. Right, so it was previous season. Yeah, they made a 7 out of 10 movie. Full CG, surprisingly. And this is not a full CG production. Actually, there wasn't any CG, I don't think, besides, I think the scene with the table and the zoom into the table, I think that might have been CG. And one scene of a barrel rolling could have been either CG or just the barrel PNG rotating and kind of giving that illusion. I'm not sure, but in any case, they have not made many things. And similarly, Studio Palette. They made this thing that I'm unfamiliar with, some isekai probably, or some edgy fantasy show. Fall 2021, 12 episodes, 7 out of 10. This one that I'm again unfamiliar with, Spring 2023, 66%. And oh, they're making 2 shows this season? Or are they only helping with this one? Oh, it's a second season. Huh. Yeah, I guess Silverlink is the main studio here and Palette is just helping them. Which would mean that Palette is probably helping with this one and 100 Studio is the main here? I'm not sure. We'll see. What do we have next? Right, characters, voice actors. Or actually, let's start with the staff. That's how we usually go about it. Not that many people involved, or at least not that many people listed. Original creator, director, and script I'm probably most interested in. Original creator is Masamichi Sato, who's it's his only anime, but he did make a couple of other manga that I'm unfamiliar with, but there is a very characteristic art style, it seems, to his art. Then we have Kei Umabiki, who's the director on this one. Also directed some episodes of Iruma-kun, Ayakashi Triangle, assistant director. Director on Classicaloid 2, whatever that is. Besides that, mostly episode director on Toaru. And yeah, not many roles as a director. Like, I guess Classicaloid would be his only role as a director. Other than that, he's been directing singular episodes. interesting. Maybe that's one of the reasons why the pacing kind of feels a little bit uneven in this show, right? Sometimes it's long, sometimes it's short. He's just, getting to know the craft, I guess, at the age of 47. I mean, that's fine. You learn your whole life after all. Shogoyasu Kawa, who's the scriptwriter and also responsible for composition on this one. Now he has a much bigger portfolio. Script for One Room, a script for Neptunia, apparently. Script for a couple of episodes of Witch from Mercury, Edomai Elf. Virgin Road, Danmachi, Toaru, Shokugeki no Soma, more Danmachi. Interesting. He actually seems to have worked on some decent shows, like well written and well scripted and well directed. Terraformers, Shakugan no Shana, script for a couple of episodes as well. That's DuckDuckGo. Who else would I like to see? Character design, sure, why not? Art director, yeah, and music, mostly what I'm interested in, I think. Shigeo Akahori is responsible for character design here, as well as animal design in Journey, sub-character design in Shimatsu no Valkyrie. Not many roles as character designer, it seems. Mostly animation direction, key animation, for some really old shows as well. Lodos, Lupin the Third, Clamp in Wonderland, like some early JoJo's. Technolize, Monster. Plenty big portfolio. But mostly as an animator or key animator, not much in regard of character design. I mean, he did well designing characters here, although they're kind of model, but that's more onto the artist rather than the character designer. Kenichi Tajiri, art director. Oh, I see Yofuka Shinouta, and I guess background art for a single episode there. Art director for some shows that I'm unfamiliar with. Rakudo no Onnatachi, I heard of it, have not seen it though. Art director for Yusha Party, yeah, The Beast Tamer, more isekai shows, it seems. Some role in Fairy Gone, art design, Akiba Strip. What else do we have here that I would know? Danshi Kokusei no Nichijo, art director. Interesting. Would you look at that? Canon as well, and some much older shows, like some of the first Sailor Moons. Yeah. Bishoujo Senshi Sailor Moon, the OG Sailor Moon. He did art for a couple of episodes and background art for a couple more. And Lotte no Omocha, art director. And now he's back art directing this one. Next we have Seima Iwahashi. Iwahashi, music for this one. Also music for Bang Dream, for some musical shows. Yeah, mostly Bang Dream, but also Tsunage. And Grisaya, music. Interesting. Tsugumomo, theme song. And the other person responsible for music here is Yuta Kasai, who did music for this and music for Title Idol, whatever that show is. Who else is left here? Sure, you know what, let's just check out everybody who's left. There's not that many people, so might as well. Ayako Otsuki, director of photography, also for Tensai OG photography, Jujutsu Kaisen 0 photography, and Miru Thighs photography. Okay, hopefully we can expect some thighs. Maybe from the elf girl or from Haga. I mean, he has massive legs. Saki Suzuki, color design for this one, as well as for Renai flops. Yusha Yamemas. Lots of finishing for Gridman, for Shingeki no Kyojin, for Charlotte, for Persona, for Data Bullet, finishing check, paying for Darling in the Franxx. Next we have Emi Onodera. Yeah, Emi Onodera. Editing for this one. Editing for Shikanoko Noko Noko Koshtantan as well. Kono Healer Mendokusai, Uchi no Maid, Marishimashita Iruma-kun, Sabagebu. Okay, cool. No, I thought it's Uchi-senkan Tiramisu, but no, it's Uchi-senkan Yamato, Gabriel Drop Out, Seiken no Blacksmith, and other shows. Takeshi Takadera, who's a sound director here, also for Oshinoko, for Yuru Camp, for more Yuru Camp, for Engage Kiss, for more Yuru Camp, Wataten, what else do we have here? Fate, more Yuru Camp, Kamisama Dolls, also sound director, and even like, yeah, he goes way back. Initial D, sound production manager, Cardcaptor Sakura, sound production manager, and it goes even earlier, all the way into like what, 80s, 70s, something like that. Okay, that was the stab. Let's take a look at the voice actors. We don't have many. I see Rie Takahashi already. But let's go in order. Haga is voiced by Kaito Ishikawa. Nikola is voiced by Hinaki Yano. So let's check them out in the first place. First order. Kaito Ishikawa. I know I recognize this voice from somewhere. I guess Sakata from Seishin Butayaro. Where else would I recognize it? I thought it's the dude from Ao no Exorcist for a moment, but no, he's from Boku no Hero Academia. Naofumi! Of course, yeah, that's where I recognize this voice. Of course, he's the voice of Naofumi. And also other people that I don't entirely recognize, I'm afraid. Who do we have here? Someone from Ensemble Stars. Sale from the JoJo's. PP-me, but who hasn't voiced PP-me? If you're unfamiliar with people voicing PP-me and Popuko, yeah, that's a list. In every episode of Pop the Pipik and in every episode of Pop the Pipik 2, both PP-me and Popuko get 2 different voice actors each. So, yeah, that list is gonna grow. Okay, I think that's gonna do it. Oh, Genos from One Punch Man. That's another voice. Kurata from Gate. Those are finally some familiar faces. There we go. And then we have Hinaki Yano, who's voicing Nikola. And is also voicing, let's see, Kita-san Black in Umamusu. Global finally coming. I don't know when, but it's coming. I know that much. And not that many other roles. Momoe in Wonder Egg Priority, I guess. And then we have Amano, voiced by Reiji Kawashima, and Akira, voiced by Rie Takahashi. Keiji Kawashima voiced. Let's see. Any familiar faces? Not really. Not that many roles in the first place. And nobody I would recognize. I mean, I recognize this dude from Mashle. I have not seen Mashle, so I can't say much more about it. And Rie Takahashi, who's voicing Hoshizaki-san in Sasaki to Pichan, of course, who's voicing Shizuku in Kaito Otome, Megumin in Konosuba, Ena in Yuru Camp, plenty other roles. The Ririha in Oyukimi no Kaina, Montpellier in Azure Lane, Ai Hoshino in Oshinoko, Tomo Aizawa in Tomo-chan. Who else do we have? Takagi in Takagi-san, and plenty other roles. Mash in Fate. Plenty of big recognizable roles, and yet she's been relegated to a secondary character. Interesting how that works, eh? And of course Emilia from ReZero. Okay, I think that's gonna do it for checking out the staff. So no Frieren. I like where this show is going conceptually, right? I like the ideas that it has, and I very much like the general execution, I guess, as well, right? The lack of gamification, the fact that nobody really, knows what's going on in the outside world. Why are they stuck? There is no, I don't know, malicious company that stuck them in there or anything like that, like in case of SAO, for example. That adds to the feeling of mystery here. So I really like it on this, like, conceptual level. I have not seen... No, I don't think I've seen anime, like, game isekai shows where the main character is actually in the know about the game fully. I mean, I guess SAO, right? Kirito was like a beta tester or something like that. But besides that, you don't really see that often. There's plenty of manga in that vein, but plenty of light novels as well, but not many anime, so it's a treat seeing something like that. And I'm really looking forward to what exploits will Haga show us, right? Flipping through the walls, duplicating items, it will be very fun to watch, for sure. The only issue I have is with execution, with production. The art style, good. I really like it. It's unique, it pops out, it immediately stands out from the slew of seasonal isekai trash released every single season, right? That's very good. I am a fan of this kind of art style with those, uneven, wobbly, kind of sort of line work with very thick lines, that sketchy, painterly quality to it. I very much enjoy it, so that's, thumbs up in my book. The only criticism I have when it comes to execution is I'm not even sure if I have issue with pacing, I think it's more of an issue with animation here. And my issue with pacing stems from the issue with animation, and someone's revving a motorcycle outside. Could you be any louder, please? Okay, I hope it didn't pick up on the mic. Right, yeah, I think my issue with... Well, he can get louder, apparently. Now my mic did pick it up. Yeah, my issue with pacing stems from the animation, where you have a shot where just nothing happens. It's a still, and a character blinks, and that's it. It really slows down the pace a lot, to the point where it feels like the pacing is slow, but on the other hand, the actual sequence of events is fast enough for me to even say that the pacing might be a little bit too fast. So we get that weird dissonance here, where it feels like it's fast, but it also feels like it's slow. And I guess that would be my my issue here in general. And of course, the production quality is... I mean, I did not expect Frieren. Absolutely not. I did not expect Shangri-La here. It would be nice, yes, absolutely, but it was not my expectation. And what I got is pretty much Saihead no Paladin levels of stills and slideshows and sliding PNGs. which kind of sucks, because I can see plenty of people just dropping this show because it looks ugly, quote unquote, and I can understand that, right? I can understand full well that someone might not be willing to just watch a slideshow like that. But the story, I think, is gonna make up for it. So I'm certainly going to watch it. I'm certainly going to see how it develops. If the story falls through, then, I mean, worst case scenario, I drop it. I don't think it will fall through, though, right? Like, the manga was good enough to get an adaptation, and it doesn't happen that often. It's mostly light novels that get adaptations nowadays, not so much mangas. So the manga had to be good. So it has to have, like, good story and good art and good characters and stuff like that. And the art and the characters and the story absolutely shines through. It's just the animation department that kind of dropped the ball a little bit here. But then again, it's two very little studios working on it, so we couldn't really have expected miracles. Miracles like that don't happen often. The only example I can think of is Studio Nut with Yojo Senki, which it was their first show, and they absolutely fucking blew it out of the water. It was fucking amazing for, like, is blew it out of the water the correct term to use here? I don't know. I'm not a native English speaker, if you couldn't tell. They did good on Yojo Senki, is what I'm saying here, and yet it was their first production. So it can be done, sure, but it probably should not be expected. So it's fine. It's fine. If it gets any worse, I might reevaluate my opinion, but so far I enjoyed my time with it. I enjoyed the theory crafting, wondering what's the deal here. I very much enjoyed the big reveal, right? At the moment when I thought that I had it all figured out, right? Oh, right, she's important for the story. He has to protect her, but the game is buggy, so she might die at any moment. Oh, that's gonna be fun to see. No, that's not it. That's not it at all. That was cool. Again, I had fun with it. Not so much with the animation, but with the story and the art. Yeah, the art style I really did enjoy. But I think that's gonna be it. I don't think I have anything more to say on the topic of this episode, but maybe you guys do, and if you do, then say so in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode, of my reaction, my theories, stuff like that, in the comments below. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to be notified of future videos, and not only... what the fuck is the title of this one? Sorry, I forgot. Not only Konosekai wa Fukanzen Sugiru, but also Wasuyu, Spice and Wolf, Shy Season 2, plenty others coming in the future. Click the bell to be notified of when those videos release and when I go live, because I do go live sometimes. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Wasuyu, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and place in the credits. You can also support me directly on YouTube, membership, super thanks, super chats, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you don't have to. Share my content, spread the word. It really helps a lot and costs you absolutely nothing. And with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. And as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB, Without a Net, Zerene, Yukiala, Ishtamu, Dr. Word, Frederick Jung, Akamancer, Marsh, Fassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to defeat any dragons. That was simple.